Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys. Hey, listen, we've expanded our X series cameras and lens assortment right now, and this video is kind of just to bring you up to date on that. Of course, we first introduced the X Pro 1, then the XE1 as our interchangeable lens bodies. With the X Pro 1, we introduced 3 prime lenses. We've added since another prime lens, so we've got a 14, an 18, a 35, a 60 millimeter, all fast prime lenses. When we introduced this beauty, this XE1, we also introduced the 18-55, our first zoom lens. Very, very high quality kit lens. Just recently, our friends at Zeiss announced 3 lenses that are compatible with the XF, so that kind of adds to the XF lens family. And now, and what you're going to find out more about in this video later, we've just introduced our first telephoto zoom. So this 55-200, smooth as silk XF lens, all metal cams, again, as usual, great image stabilization. Billy, I know you've played around with this.
That's right.
Tell me about it and show me your video, okay?
Okay. Let's just take a quick look at the XF lenses that are available to date. We have the 14mm f2.8 lens. We have the 18mm f2, the 35mm f1.4, the 60mm f2.4. These, again, are all prime lenses. We have our first zoom, which is the 18-55 f2.8 to f4. It runs off a linear focus motor, as well as offering optical image stabilization. And lastly, we're going to introduce the brand new 55-200 telephoto zoom lens that starts off with an f3.5 and goes to about a 4.6. It's quite a nice looking lens, and this is the lens that we're going to talk about today. On top of that, of course, I have the X100S here with me as well, and you can kind of consider this lens, it's coming to the XF family as well. It's the 23mm. On the X100S, it's the 23mm f2.0. However, for the XF lenses, we're going to actually offer a 23mm f1.4. So this is going to be a great looking lens that's coming later in end of this year. There's also going to be a pancake lens as well, and that again will be coming in mid to late 2013. But this video is really about the zoom itself. So let's just take a quick look at the zoom. As you can see, the zoom is quite large compared to the current lenses. Of course, that's because of the hood that's being attached to it. So if I remove the hood, as you can see right there, the lens is not that much larger. It does have a nice feel and build quality to it. It does have sort of a metal cam. So if you ever use the 18-55 zoom, you'll notice that, again, you're going to have metal on metal, so it's actually very, very smooth for focusing. You got a nice rubberized grip here, unlike some of the other lenses that we had. So that's going to give you a nice grip and feel to it, of course. Again, the design of this lens is quite nice in the sense that it's not very heavy. The lens itself weighs approximately 580 grams. And if you combine that with the X Pro 1, which is about 450 grams, you're looking at just around over 1,000 grams for this. Now, if we compare this to sort of a full frame DSLR system with equivalent zoom lens, you're looking at double the weight. So you're basically saving half the weight by going through the X series system by using the telephoto and the X Pro 1. So that's going to be a huge difference in your camera bag. It's not going to be too heavy. Like I said again, the camera comprises of an ED lens. It also incorporates a super ED lens as well, and that helps to reduce chromatic aberration and helps to reduce to give you sharper, higher contrast and better color reproduction, of course. It also uses spherical lenses as well, so that again you're getting the best possible image quality. Now, when we look at the lens itself, the aperture is a variable aperture, as you can see right here. There is no marking on it. It's because when you zoom in, zoom out, the aperture does change. It's not like a fixed, like these sort of prime lenses here. The one great thing about the design of this lens, of course, is that at every step point through the zoom, we try to minimize the aperture so that, let's say at 150 millimeters, you're still shooting at f4, which is kind of nice because you look at the other lenses, and once you start going past certain zoom range, you'll start to see that the aperture jumps really quick. So it really offers a very, very low aperture throughout its scale, which is kind of nice to see. And it's about 1/3 stop brighter than the average lens out there in this sort of category. If we look at the build again, you got your lens cap. It has a thread about 62 millimeters. The lens also incorporates a brand new OIS system on it, and the on and off switch to that is from here. You also have controls through your aperture control, so you have A, which is automatic, and then you have the manual setting here where you can actually adjust your aperture and 1/3 stops. Of course, you'll definitely see that information because it's not marked here. You'll see it on the back of the camera, whether you're using the OVF, EVF, or the LCD, depending again on the camera itself. Still has the metal mount. Again, it's the XF mount for Fuji, so it's nice. And again, the build quality is really, really nice to have. The focusing system on this lens also, it uses the linear motor system, very similar to the 18-55 zoom lens, and that's sort of the comparison between the size right there, as you can see. So you basically have an 18-55 and a 55-200, so it really covers, the basic telephoto and wide zoom range. On the lens, you can see the size is slightly larger. It's because it's offering a little bit more zoom, of course. The OIS system, just talking about itself, actually has been improved to offer about over 4.5 stops. So that's going to be huge. And of course, we're going to go through out in the field and take a look at how the OIS system works, in actual fact, and see how good this actually system is. In fact, if we look at the lens itself, we also look at the inverse rules, right? So for this one here, if we turn this into a 35mm equivalent, it should be about 300 millimeters at the full zoom. You technically need 1/300th of a second in order to get a nice steady shot. And that's obviously taking pictures of a non-moving subject, of course. And by using that image stabilization that's built onto this, you can actually get away with 1/10 in terms of the shutter speeds. And that's going to be huge because it really allows you to be more portable with this lens. When you travel, a lot of times you want to be lightweight and you don't want to lug a tripod. Now, of course, if you have the room to bring a tripod, please bring one. However, you can get away with it with this new optical image stabilization. It's so good in that sense. We look at a different focal length, 100 millimeters, which I guess 150 millimeters in terms of 35 equivalents. You would technically need 1/50th of a second. However, you can do it at 1/5 of a second. So that's actually quite incredible. Again, we have to really look at this. It is a brand new OIS system on this lens, and it's quite useful. The focusing on it, I talked about it using a linear motor. The focusing on it is quite fast. In fact, at the wide range, it can go as quick as 0.16 of a second to get basically autofocus. And at the full tele side, it can adjust to about 0.7 seconds. So depending on where you're zooming in. Now, again, we're going to definitely take a look at the lens in the field to see how it actually performs. And you'll be pleasantly surprised on how good the focusing speed on this lens is. And when you try this with other zoom lens out there, you definitely see the speed and performance of this actually kick in. So very nice to have. In fact, there is a firmware update that you need to do with both the X Pro 1 and XE1 in order to maximize the focus speed on this lens. In fact, the firmware that is coming out once this lens is available will also improve the focusing on the current XF lenses as well. So that new firmware has a new algorithm that actually increases the focus speed. So that's quite incredible. I love the way Tokyo has really gone about making updates and changes constantly to maximize the performance of this X series style camera. Like I said again, this camera is excellent, has a good weight, good feel. Let's just attach it to the camera itself just so that I can give you a rough look at the size of it. So as you can see there, it's very nice. This is the full tele side of it. Of course, once you attach the lens hood on it, it's going to make it slightly larger. But again, when you're going out and you're taking photos, you definitely want to have the hood to prevent any flaring that's happening in the lens. So that's what it looks like there. Of course, the hood is also reversible as well. So I guess on the portable side of things, as you can see right there, it does attach, and therefore you can actually stick it into your camera bag and make it a lot more portable. So that's how it looks on the X Pro 1. Let's just take a look now at the XE1 so that I know some of you guys own an XE1 and you also want to see the size and weight on it. And it's not bad. It's a little bit front heavy, of course. However, saying that, it's not that big. In fact, it makes it a lot more portable to take with you, and it's definitely a lot lighter than having a full-frame DSLR with the equivalent zoom lens. You know, with the X Pro One, like I said, it's half the weight of that type of system, and with the XE1 body being slightly lighter than the X Pro One, you're definitely not going to be hurting your arms and whatnot. And the OIS system works quite well too, so again, you know, a lot of times you can avoid using the tripod. So that's just the look of this lens right here. It's kind of nice to see. What I'm going to do now is maybe line up the lenses so that you can get a direct sizing of the current lenses that we have here. I'm just going to take the hood off completely on all these lenses so that you have sort of an idea of what the lens does look like when it's lined up. So as you can see there, we have the different focal ranges from 14, 18, 35, 60, the 18 to 55 zoom lens, and the 55 to 200 zoom lens. Like I said earlier, coming down in the fall, we are introducing a few more lenses, including the 23 f1.4, as well as the 27mm pancake lens. And to your surprise and to my surprise, actually, and I'm really, really interested in looking at this lens, in early 2014, we actually changed the specs of our sort of portrait lens, that 56mm that we kind of set in the roadmap to be 1.4. It's actually going to be 1.2, which is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that lens.
Well, thanks, Billy, for showing us that. I can't wait
problem.
to try one myself. You found it okay when you're using it?
It was awesome. I had good fun with it. It was quite fast for focusing. The OIS was very, very good for this telephoto lens, and the build quality, of course, is you know, X series, of course.
Yeah. So I just want to remind everyone, beside these 2, 4, 6 lenses, the 3 Zeiss lenses that we've mentioned, we've got a bunch of other lenses on our roadmap. Right. They're all very exciting. I know many of you out there have already kind of researched this yourself, but you know, anywhere from very compact pancake lenses to small wide-angle zooms to super fast primes. So keep in touch by going to our website and keeping up to date with our what we call our lens roadmap, okay? And do subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to check out all our other videos, and follow this guy on Twitter, Billy. And until next video, I'm Greg.
And I'm Billy.
And we're the Fuji Guys.